Okay. So, but I feel freer, you understand, in other people's countries than even in my own. Which is very sad. You know, a friend of mine was talking about him. Okay, so one of my trips to the US, and I was at the airport and at LAX in California, and the we were at, my flight came in, and I think a lot of this concussion from Asia, you understand, came in at that time, and so I don't know how it happened, but all around the hall, it was it was it was just these short Asians. You understand? You know, these Chinese people, they can be very short. Indians, short people. You know? And then there was just me and this guy. I don't know where he is from, but he is black and he is huge like me. And just the two of us, around that space, you know, where we were just the two blacks that were there. And we just turned and looked at ourselves, and we knew that we were different from all the people because they were brief like this. And then so we had to follow a queue, you know, to get to customs. And while we were going in the queue, he was in front, and then because I think his own flight came in earlier, he was just going, and then the queue goes like this and like this before you emerge at customs. So when he turned this way, I was still coming this way. We just got to one another, so he was by my side. So we just turned, and without anything, we just shook ourselves, hit our chests, and we passed. I don't know whether he's from South Africa or from Kenya or from wherever, but he just looks like me. There's a friend of mine was talking about, he was in Texas and he was just walking the street, and all of a sudden he just heard two Hausa boys. They were talking. He just turned and looked at them, and he was looking for them. He was hearing them. They were talking at the top of their voices. So he heard Hausa, and all of a sudden he just turned, you know, and he saw the two of them. They were, and then he just said, "Hey, Malayane," you know, and all of them just, "Hey, Yakike," and all of that. And they just got there. He said they changed their agenda. Those guys followed him to his house. You know, they stayed there. They became brothers. Nobody thought about Muslim. He said anytime they were coming to Nigeria, they will come to him, you know, to ask. And you know what? He is from Benue State. Nobody was talking about religion. Nobody was talking about ethnicity. Nobody was talking about whether, whatever, nothing. You understand? They just knew that it was my brother, and then that became the standard. So, unequal treatment of a group of people within a society, which results in one group being at a disadvantage. We place, you know, sometimes we use our number or this to oppress one another. Okay, and this brings, I'm going to be talking in the light of the economy. Okay, and then we're going to be seeing. I have promised that I'm not going to bore you with economic figures so that some of you will not sleep on me. You understand? Because by the time you start talking about GDP and all the likes, you just see that some people will start sleeping. Okay, but I've tried to make it as simple and as possible. Okay, so let's do the next slide. What are the major indicators of inequality? The first is racism and tribalism, and that is basically classification by ancestry. How many of you here chose your ancestry? Not even your name. You did not even give yourself a name. That's why you see that some of them, when they start growing and they start becoming popular, you say his name is DJ Flex. Because he's trying to find an identity for himself. Because somebody gave you, you know, my late elder brother, you understand, gave a name to himself. You know, he gave a name to himself. My mother quarreled with that name till both of them died. You know, I remember people will call him Shaitan, you know, Shaitan. I don't know what shaitan means. But you know, he was trying to create an identity for himself. So when his friends come around, they are like, hey, where is shaitan? My mother will say, me shell talks, Kuma. Like, what is shell talks? She all she knew that was close was shell talks. It's like, which is that we gave you a very good name and you're coming to change it. So, but you see, our ancestry, all of us are born into it. Even the religion that we practice. Let me let you know that if you were born, if I'm a Christian today, and if I was born into a Muslim home, there is 95% chance that I will still be a Muslim today. So most of the times it's not even a choice. It's just that you came into a culture or into a religion that you met people doing. In fact, this morning I was sharing with a group of people that I meet with every Saturday morning online. And I was saying to them, the reality about us is that when you see children, everything that children are, is that it is placed inside them. No child is born with hatred. No child is born with hatred. Every one of us is born clean. If there was a mistake, let's imagine that there was a hospital mistake, and my mother gave birth to me, and then we switched. You know, I was born in Kano, I told you people, Nasarawa Hospital, okay? Before they changed the name to something. You know, every day, I don't know why they like changing names. You know, so me, I tell people that it was Nasarawa Hospital I was born, okay? Let's imagine that one Abdullahi was born on the same day with me. And then there was a hospital mistake, and I was given to Abdullahi's mother. Do you understand? And Abdullahi was given to my own mother. What do you think will have happened? I would have been Abdullahi today, full. I will defend everything that Abdullahi is defending today. Huh? He would have been Bugama, you understand? And he would have told people with every confidence. Even if he looks Fulani, you understand? He would have told people with every confidence that he is this person and this person and this person. And so we must understand that when we classify people by ancestry, you understand? That it is not, let me say that an ancestry itself is not bad, because it gives you a sense of history. Do we understand? It gives you a sense of history. And it gives you, in fact, let me tell you that God did it in such a way that adaptations are easier to people. Do you know that if a white man comes to live here in Jos, a season like this one is a very terrible one for him? You know why? Because even his physical adaptations are not designed for the survival of Hamatan. How do you survive? Not to talk about, but you see, because of constant Hamatan that you're used to, you think it's normal. One of my friends, Jim came to Nigeria, one of the two. He said, what is this fine particles in the air? You know, it was looking very strange. It's like particles. How can you have sand particles in the air? You know, and all of that, and then it settles on everything. But you see, for us, we are used to Hamatan. Especially when you grew up in Kano, you know, you just wake up and then until his skin, you know, he will rub pomade and rub, and the thing keeps drying. But my friend from Yobe, he doesn't need pomade. Which shea butter? He doesn't need anything. His skin has toughened over time. And you see, sometimes when you go to the Arab world, you see now they are playing the World Cup in Qatar. They had to choose this time because if they chose in April or the normal time that they did, all of those European countries, they will not be able to kick one ball. You know the reason? The heat that will When you go to the Mid-Eastern states, their day starts at 4. Do you understand? Their day starts at 4, 5 in the evening. So by 11:10, 10, 11, my friend just moved to Dubai, and yesterday he called me, and their time was around 1 in the night. And I'm like, oh, guy, they sleep? He said, at this time, life they happen. It's like this is the time that life happens. You want him to be sleeping, he can't come out at this time, at 10, because of the heat. So God has placed us in different places for different adaptations. So that we can function in those places, but not that we should use our differences against other people. So the moment somebody comes to you and you notice that he does not have the same skin color, he doesn't have the same accent like you understand, he does not speak like you, sometimes if I find myself, it's difficult for you, except somebody tells you, it's difficult for you to pick what part of the country I come from, right? It's difficult for you. So a lot of people think that I'm from Benin. Most times I've seen that. In fact, there was a woman that accosted me somewhere. She said, when you come out, go inside town, I know they refuse una people. Wait. She just kept talking. I said, madam, I am not from your place. She spoke one language, and told me, and somehow I understood what she was saying. And then my face, she said, you see, you understand what? I said, madam, I am not from your place. It was like anytime they see you, first of all, your salary is like 2 times or 3 times their own. You are coming in, they have already created your passwords from Lagos. So when you're coming in, nobody is going, it's just, they'll give you system. And then when I joined First Bank, not everybody uses system. So, when you go to the bank, it's not everybody that is banker. Some people are bankers, some people are bank workers. And it's the bank workers that harass you the most. You understand? No, please be very patient with them. They are only pushing an aggression. They forced all of us to wear suits, right? They forced all of us. So when people see them, they think that all of us have the same salary. But the guy is going home with 32,520 naira. So first of all, they are angry, at you, for this. So when I got into my branch, then all of a sudden, when you see my name, Samson Bugama, most of them, used to think, okay, it's from maybe Rivers, Buguma, those places. And all of a sudden, they just started insulting me in Hausa. And then when I say, okay, please, can you do this? I say, it's like, don't tell him the truth. Don't tell him the truth. Just make him make mistake, and all of that. And then for the first 3 months, I did like I did not know how to speak Hausa at all. So I heard all the insults. I took all the insults and everything. Then one day, there was this old Baba that came into the bank, and he needed help. So I just turned to him and said, hey, Baba Zoka Dangwala Anan. And when somebody is saying Zoka Dangwala, his Hausa is not here. So one of them just heard it. Yeah? He said, Bugama. So what did you say? I said, Nache Mushi Zue Dangwala. And the guy looked at me and said, can you Hausa? I said, Wallah, so say. Ye Jew, ye ina lillahi wa ina ilaihi raji'un. He entered the office and he was telling, Kusam Bugama hey Hausa. And that was how I conquered all of them. Because first of all, I knew what perspective all of them carried. And I just decided in my heart that I'm going to be gracious to these people. Some of them who I had to do their appraisals, you understand, didn't get anything. Some of them got 90-something. Because where supervisors deal with their is at appraisals. He says, I'm appraiser. We'll meet at appraiser. But we decided, no, that's not it. We cannot reduce ourselves to their level. Because somebody has to be the light. Somebody has to change the narrative. But you know, what we do most of the times is reactionary. And I must tell you that this thing, that's why I put racism and tribalism to come together. Because, you see, racism happens on the broader scale, right? But what happens on our tribalism? You understand? So when we come here, in fact, let me tell you, one of the my village, there's this village that is close to my own village. I don't know how my parents know the difference. Because anytime I go to the village, I don't normally know what is the boundary between this place and this place. Every other person, growing up, we had people that came from the other places, and they came and we were brothers. Then one day I heard that for chieftaincy, this thing, these people got up and burnt these people's homes and all of that. And so when some of us got back to the village, I stood and I looked at the elders and I told them that I'm very disappointed at all of you. I said, I'm sorry, but I'm disappointed at all of you. I said, because I grew up thinking that this one and this one and this one and these ones are my cousins. I have told people that they are my cousins. Because we speak the same language. This is the same tribe, the same dialect, the same. But right in that, we were able to see the difference, you know, because it came down, down, and down. I told you about my friend who met Hausa guys, and the guy is from Benue. He met them in Texas, and they became his brothers. They became the people he was hanging around with. You know, when they were they would just tell them, he is the one that would tell them, say, yeah, Queen Salah. You know, it's like, have you guys prayed? I've had cause to travel with some prominent people in Nigeria. And sometimes you're going together, and because you guys are in a foreign land, in fact, I'm asking him, I said, you understand? And then on Sunday, he's asking me, aren't you going to church? Or, do you understand? And because on that broader scale, all of us are facing racism. But coming down, when we come down, we now begin to know that myself and Ishaya is from Borno State, or is from Adamawa State, and me, I am from Plateau State, and this person is from this state, and this one is from. So when we come down here, especially when we come to the plateau, they will tell you that somebody is Birom, somebody is Angas, somebody is this thing. Then they will now come, when they get to the Birom, they will tell you this one is Zawan, this one is Giel. Inside the Zawan, they will tell you this one is Zawan A. And this one is Zawan B. I must tell you that once we see this kind of indicator, it begins to tell us that they are indicators for social injustice. The second one is economic inequality. That's unequal distribution of wealth and resources. Okay, so if we together are a country, we bring ourselves together. What is supposed to be is that we are supposed to all contribute to the pool that serves all of us. But you see, when I wait that it is only Ishaya that contributes to the thing, herself contribute to the thing, then me, I wait. Then I will chop the most part. Because all I do is that I try to make sure that I place myself and my brothers in the place where it is chop one, chop two. That's economic inequality. I have consulted for my company, AgriKey Services, consults for a top Nigerian. I will not mention his name. He's currently in this government. And I traveled to go see his project. In fact, I conceptualized his project for him. I remember Herbert Wigwe sending, hey, get Bugama to come and conceptualize something and get this done. And so we did all of the concept notes and all the likes. And then I had to travel to the place where he was going to site the project. By the time I got there, some of his aides were the ones that picked me from the airport, okay? And one of them, very young guy and very, very dull. Do you understand? Very young guy and very dull. Because you will see that this person is colored, by ethnicity, religion, and all the likes. And from the airport where he picked me, right until we got to the hotel, he had castigated different tribes. Do you understand? Different tribes. And while we were getting close to the hotel, he got a phone call. That same young, dull man got a phone call. And excuse me, do you know who called him? It was the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. And he was asking him, why have you not resumed? We have sent you flight tickets. We have sent you allowance. And he was speaking mostly, and when he dropped the call, he now said, this man is disturbing me. I'm not telling you hearsays. I was there. And these are some of the people that will get into the Central Bank of Nigeria and will take decisions for myself and you. Monetary and physical policies of your country. Just imagine that you were the one who got that job. What would you can't get it because they have finished sharing it. Sometimes it's difficult for you to be able to stand in front of young people and tell them work hard. Because the question is, work hard to what? You tell them, read your book, get a very good degree. For what? That's why we don't blame all of these children that believe now that Yahoo Plus and all of that. I watched one of those and Japa is the main thing. That's the only thing. I went to fix my phone one time at Amadou Bello Way. You understand? Here in Jos. And I heard a group of boys and they were talking about the possibility of passing through the desert, to get to Europe. And I was talking to them. I said, okay, maybe peradventure I will save one of them. So I decided to start talking. My brother, these boys floored me. They floored. No, there's a way you argue with somebody and his points are more than your points. My office in Abuja, some young boys came, they just finished secondary school and they were into cryptocurrencies. And I kept telling them, I was trying to tell them the danger of cryptocurrency. And I told them, look, I'm a policy expert of this. They say, oh God, forget that thing. He said, yesterday night, see what I traded, see what I got. I want to invite them again to the office to say, what did you get last night? Because the cryptocurrency, so you don't, it has crashed completely. You don't trust, but you can't blame these children. Because they have seen these inequalities. All of the lucrative places. So go and study and make your first class, you understand, and do whatever. Somebody sits down and determines who gets what. Today we get there and then we see even people we see people with third class will be given lecturing, while somebody with a first class will be denied because they tell you catchment area. I went to, from your this, you see that I went to Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, in Bauchi. And as at the time, I graduated the best student in my faculty. And so they came to me and told me, can you come back and lecture? He said, because we've had um, some of the lecturers dying and all of that, and we're looking for people. And I mean, I used to do tutorials for my classmates, you understand, and all the likes. And some of them knew. So in fact, there was one course that one of the lecturers just said to me, "I better go and teach your classmates this thing. I'll give you exam so that you people will pass." You know, so I was the lecturer. I was also a student. And when I came back, you understand, when I came back to lecture, okay, so the person who was DVC academics, DVC academics then, no, DVC academics, yes, had now become the VC. Okay, so the VC that used to know me was no longer there. And but well, that DVC had, he knew me also. We had confrontation because I was also a student leader. And he just, when I came back, I put my applications. I wanted to be a graduate assistant. And he looked at me and they kept telling me I should go and come back. I should go and come back. And I did like 6 months going and coming back. Then one day I met my classmate who graduated because of carryovers after me. Do you understand? And then he came for youth service, you know, after we had finished. He just finished youth service, graduated with the 3rd class. And here he was on campus. So I thought he came for masters or something. By the time I got there, he told me that he was going to take class. And when I made further inquiries, they said Plateau is no longer part of the catchment area. So nobody's talking about competence. Nobody's talking about capability or capacity. Nobody's talking about that. But the fact that I come from a particular part of the country, and let me tell you, I am more Hausa than a Bauchi person. Because I was born in Kano. Sorry for those of you who don't know Hausa. But you know, somebody looked at me today, you understand, and felt that I was not from a catchment area. And for that, I was not qualified. So you look at that and you see that in different places. Why? Simply because of what? Ethnicity and tribalism. So on the bigger scale, we complain about racism. Do you understand? But when we come down to our own level, our own league, you know, they used to say when we enter our own league, we now begin to consider. These things must change with you. These things must change with you. And I'm sorry to tell you that some of us, we feel that our own generation too has been dragged into it. I went to a federal government college. And when we went to federal government college, we came from different parts of the country. Different parts of the country. The last election, in the WhatsApp group of my class, it was torn into two. All on the lines of ethnicity and religion. And I said to them, I said, we are a proof that our national unity is in trouble. Because if all of us came, I went to school with mascot Kalu, the younger brother of Uzoji Kalu, was my bunk. He don't piss on top of me before. Was my bunk mate. You know, we lived together, we did things together. There was no difference between myself and Mahmoud Bello. During their fasting, we used to hide him to eat. He will go and bring cabin biscuit for us. Then we will enter toilet. Then he will give us, you know, we are the holders of his secret. He will eat and he will eat. Then we will tell him, yeah, blow your mouth, do your mouth, do your mouth. Answer, Kasa. You know, you put mouth, then he will come out. They say, put a doll face. So he will put doll face, then he will come out. Then all of us will go. But today, myself and him are divided on the lines of ethnicity and religion. we are a failure. One is class discrimination. So if I have that back, that would be good. Class discrimination. You know, this is something that is subtly coming back into Nigeria. And I must tell you that the biggest problem that we have economically, let me say this, please listen to me, is that most people in Nigeria on the strata of class, people are either in the high class, you have few people in high class, and plenty people in the lower class. The middle class literally does not exist. That's why the concept of blowing is a Nigerian concept. I hope you know. So when somebody is telling you that I want to blow, what does it mean? I want to jump from here, from the lower class into. Nobody is talking about the mid class. So I was on the invitation of Agra in Rwanda. Agra, my friend Jean-Paul Ndagijimana, you know his name is. I told him, I said, in Nigeria, your surname is a sentence. Ndagi Jimana. You know Ndagi now from Niger State. They say Jimana. It's like Ndagi, hear me now. So I was explaining to him. I said, your name means in our country, Ndagi, please listen to me. So I said, his name is Ndagi Jimana. And he reached Agra in Rwanda. And he picked me from the airport himself, not driver. And I came to do something for Agra. And he picked me at the airport, took me to his house. And I'm telling you, he lives in a normal apartment, normal neighborhood. No siren, nothing. So I asked him, I said, so where is the highbrow area in Rwanda where all the big boys live? He said, what is that? That they don't have it. I was like, where does your ministers and house of members, big guys, where do you? So he took me to see the minister for agriculture. He's a woman. When I got to the place, like there was nothing. This my auntie, she's more dressed than the woman. Very normal people. And you will ask yourself, how is Rwanda working? Why? Because they have pushed everybody to become a worker. So what they have done is that they have tried to pull people from the upper strata back into the middle class so that they can raise more people from the lower class into the worker class. And that is one of the things that gives dignity to every person. And let me let you know, excuse me, let me let you know that all this, your religion and ethnicity, you know where it used to happen? In the lower class. That's where it happened. And let me tell you, they have made it in such a way that they will always want to push you back to the... Because that is where they know that you are from Hong. And somebody is from Song. You see, when you see somebody, let me tell you, when you see somebody emphasizing something, it's because of poverty. When you see people emphasizing some things, I'm telling you that it's because of poverty. When you hear somebody telling you, Mune Birom, check his head. There is poverty somewhere that is informing that thing. That's why you discover that, honestly, the children of the bourgeois, they don't care. I've had to work with some of them. They don't care. Some of them, when you ask them, and you're wondering, I remember I traveled with one of them to outside this country. I mean, and then we got doing some things. Immediately we got there. I don't club, I don't party, I don't club. Immediately we entered room. This guy just came, he changed. When he changed, he wore his short knicker. You understand? And wore t-shirt. I just saw a different person. And he told me, he said, there is one club behind here that is coming. This guy did not return back to the room till around 5 a.m. And we had a business meeting the next day. When we were going for the business meeting, he was telling me, he said, you know, you're the one that is in charge here. You understand? Whatever you people discuss, you understand? Just make sure that in fact, when we were there, I was just looking at. So when we entered the office we was about to do, the first thing I asked for was coffee. I said, give us coffee. Make his own black. Because I wanted something that would wake him up. So most of the times, is because people have not found dignity for themselves. That's why you will discover that all of this strata of religion, ethnicity, and all of those things. If this thing happens under, they use it to control you under. I don't know if you understand. They will use it when they want to get your votes, when they want to get your this thing, then that was when they will now come and tell you, you know, all of us Christians cannot allow this thing to happen. When last did you see him in church? Or they will tell you, all of us Muslims, you know, I saw this one shameless man in Zamfara. He was telling them that this next election is about this thing, that if Bola Tinubu, you understand, does not win, it is because it's a failure for Islam. He's from Sokotoba. That man is stupid. Please, if you know him, tell him I said it. Okay, these people, when they enter court, that's to shaggy and super. They will drink their beer. They will drink it without thinking of you. But when they are looking for votes from you, they know the two things that are important to a poor man: religion and ethnicity, and they will use it. And so you will think that you people are together. After everything, he checks out and he continues to remain in his class. And you remain in your class. Then when he comes to the next election, you know what he will do? He will come to apologize for what now? You understand? He will come. He will use money. He knows you are hungry. You understand? So he will dole you money. Then you will see young men. You understand? And they are telling you they want to fight. They want to do this over somebody who doesn't care about you. Who is the comrade that they are talking about? Let me face him when I'm talking. There are many. Okay, I'll be looking at all of you in the eye and be saying it. All those comrades. I was doing a project for USAID. I was doing a project for USAID in Makodi, Benue State. And I was staying at the Benue Metropolitan Hotel. And Benue Metropolitan is the place where, I mean, it's the best hotel. Who is from Makodi here? Okay. Okay. I'm sure you don't have any hotel that is better than Metropolitan, right? No. Metropolitan, I know. So, because I see all the big guys in Nigeria. Any serious person who is coming, we used to meet at the restaurant, you know, and all of that. And I sat close to, one evening I came out, because I did a 4-month project, and I was there. So I came out one evening and I sat down. And I heard their conversation. One, they told one to go to one party. And they told the other one to go to another party. I was hearing them all. And they decided, okay, if we don't get here, we will get here. You understand? And bam, they finished their conversation. They drank their beer, drank everything, and left. And one of those days, I was still there. I saw one of them. He gathered miserable young people. You understand? And he was addressing them. You understand? The way he was addressing them, it was like you would think that, oh, we need to salvage our state. Hey, and I looked at them. I wanted to say, you are a liar. But you know, I'm not in my territory. Do you understand? I'm not in my territory. But you see that, and then there will be boys that can kill for that. All of it is to put you in that, leave you in that your middle class. Never to get up. So we are discriminated by perceived class in society. Then the other one is the gender. These are, I'm telling you, major indicators. Major indicators that when you see them, you know that social injustice is beginning to come in. When you go back, you know that I'm going to be cheated economically because of these things that I'm seeing. I'm showing you so that clearly you will see them. The other one is gender-related discrimination. And I'm going to face women now. You see, I am somebody who is not a proponent of several of the... I'm not a fan of several of the things that women do. Yes, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. So, how many of you have ever heard about Black Lives Matter? How many of you have ever heard anything called White Lives Matter? White Lives Matter. Why? Okay, so what makes it a superior race? Everything that is bad is black, and everything that is white is good, even white lie. You see, it's something that there's something that has been placed inside you to think that way. Man, you guys are watching a very radical, different person. I remember I was in Istanbul, you know, one of my trips to the West. My connecting flight was in Istanbul. And they delayed our flight. They just, I don't know for what reason, no explanation. They just said, this thing operating to O'Hare Airport has been delayed with 2 hours. Immediately they just said 2 hours. I just stood up. I went in front of the front desk and I told the lady that said, give me food to eat. And you know, those Arab guys, they despise us. She was looking. I was watching her. I said, this woman, she doesn't, by size, you won't beat me. You understand? If you start beating me, you won't finish today. Even if you start beating me, I used to tell people that you can beat me, oh, but you won't finish today. And that time, you also will be tired. So I stood in front of her. She was not going to walk. And she was like, I was looking at her. I said, give me food to eat. Then her supervisor came. One other short guy. He was wearing a better suit. You know, he came. So good. He just came. He said, you know, Mr. I said, I can't hear you. The guy said, yeah, you know, your flight. I said, excuse me. If I was in that flight by now, I would have been eating. So give me food now. The guy was shocked. You know, it's like, which kind of human being is this one? So, and I was not going to, and you know, if I stand in front of somebody, nobody else will come and push me now. You understand? And so she could not walk. She could not attend to anybody. So after a few moments, I saw them bringing food. They brought food, and they kept for me. When they kept for me, I opened it on top of our table and started eating. When I finished, I carried the thing and kept aside. Then I told her, thank you. It was a nice meal. And I turned to walk away. When I was going, one black guy looked at me. He said, you are a Nigerian, right? I said, yes. Yes. You have to learn how to be black and proud. You have to learn how to be a woman and be proud of it. out of meetings with Americans. I just finished. I told them, I said, excuse me, do you guys know I'm here? And they were like, oh, no, yeah, you know. And then I stood up. I said, okay, when you want me in the meeting, you get me. And I walked out. You see, the problem is because many of us act like second-class citizens. That's why we are discriminating. Look, how many of you know Haji Abara Kasani in Kano? Who is from Kano here? Senator. You know her? If you meet that woman, you will not think that you met a woman. The same thing that men will do, she will do it. She will talk like, go and check out our WhatsApp page and all of that. Sometimes when I look at it, the way the woman talk, I used to say, this one a man them born do is here. And you know, many a times women will be asking for, give us 30% inclusion. Okay, go out. You don't know how to buy form. In fact, I'm somebody who is very glad that Binani is coming back. I mean, she's going to be on the ballot. Women need to stand up. You need to get up, especially northern women, because you are my sisters, and I must speak this to you. You have to get up for economic reliance. You have to get up and do something. I did a project in Bauchi State in 7 local governments for MEDA. MEDA is Mennonite Economic Development, and it's funded by GAC of Canada. And we trained 16,000 women. 16,000 women. And all I kept telling them is what I'm telling you now. Get up. I didn't say that, she said it. Get up. Don't keep demanding, give me, give me. Life will not give you. Nobody will throw anything at you. Get up and take it. I hope you know that there are more women in Nigeria than men. The day that you wake up, the day that you wake up, we will be begging you. But you see, we accept, just like the black man has accepted that black lives matter, women also have accepted, you know, this thing, you know. In America, you see a woman, she's talking to you, she is angry that you are treating her like a woman. And you think that you are courteous, you know, you think you want to help her. There's a friend of ours, okay, she just came into Nigeria, Lenaya, we went somewhere with her. This woman will carry her backpack, she will take her this thing, and she's 62 years old. No, she's 66 now. She will do her things for herself. She does not wait for one man to come somewhere depending on one man. You know, some of you, your tire burst small, and you are calling your husband. And so you have accepted the discrimination. Do you understand? So that's why naturally somebody can stand and tell you that the woman belongs to the kitchen and the other room. Some of the best minds that I worked with Zainab Abdul Wahab. You know, I really wish Zainab was hearing this to know how much I hold her in high esteem. Zainab Abdul Wahab, Kano girl, exposed woman. She will challenge you in thinking. When we sit in branch meetings and all of that, she's saying, let's do this, let's do this. No, you don't see that shy outside woman in her. You see a bold. I was talking to, what is her name? The commissioner for Agric in Yobe State. Amshi, Meru Amshi. You know, and that woman we were working on a project for the abattoir in Yobe State. And you needed to see what this woman was talking about. I was impressed. And I told her, I said, we need more northern women to show their face in public like this. It doesn't stop you from the God-given responsibility that God gives you as a wife and as a mother. But how many Okonjo Iwealas can come up and take a place of leadership? But we have allowed ourselves to, women have allowed themselves to be relegated. I know even when you come to this place, you see one of the first things, if they want to share food now, they'll say, ladies first, ladies first. You know, they start demanding for those things when they want to cheat you. I believe that we need to be able to, women need to tell themselves, women need to tell themselves that I have equal opportunity and I'm going to stand and take it. I'm going to take what is mine. And let me tell you, what I have discovered is that women are better managers of resources, of money, of people, they are better managers when they sit on something. But the other thing is just like the black man. The black man has been told you are less than the white man. He has been told that, and he has been told several things that we cannot do. And we have been living with it. We passed it down to our children that we would have to demand Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter for it to matter. Okay, so next slide. So, social injustice in Nigeria. The analysis of it. A clear analysis of Nigeria from the amalgamation of the country has placed less attention on the minority tribes in the country, on all indicators of social injustice, where there is clear inequality in consideration for persons from minority groups. When I mean minority groups, not only minority groups, I'm talking about minority groups. It could be tribes, minority tribes. It could be minority religions. Sometimes in Nigeria we talk about Christianity and Islam as if that's the only two we have. There are people who are animists. There are some who are atheists. And this, you see this constitution of Nigeria that Barrister just increased our trouble. You understand? They are also partakers of it. When they are included, it is only to look fair in distribution, but not in benefits and opportunities. My sister, what's her name? Hawa, is it Hawa or Hawa? She talked about including people with disabilities in our constitution. If they do it in Nigeria, it's only academic nonsense. Excuse me, don't we, in Kano, they will call somebody, they will look at somebody and say, Ngurugu. Confidently. How many of you, let's imagine, even Nasarawa State, the former Nasarawa State governor that used to have Almakura, that had challenge with his hair. What did they used to call him in that place? Lemkurma, this thing is our. So minority groups, different groups, sometimes minority tribes, minority, there is no concept looking for how to look like we are good. Let me ask you, you see this, if you go to the States, there are different places where you cannot park your car because it is meant for those with disabilities. You cannot have a public place if there is no place, like this altar now, this place now. It is, they will tell you that it is not sensitive to people with disabilities. Because they know that you have to make a place where their wheelchair or something can come through. I have a friend in the US who has stem cell injury, and she's had to, she this wall that was not stacked in the place. I'm not saying that was kept in the place. That was not stacked in the place. And they told him that he should carry as much as he can. But he should know that when he has won, he will have to pay back. The only on that level, there is money, it's dollars, it's this that they do. But when they come down to you, they will start telling you this one is Muslim, this one is Christian. That's why that idiot in Zamfara, in Sokoto, you understand, will stand and tell you people. Let him win, and you will see whether you will see the back of his tire. So it leads to two major things. Okay, so let's get back our slide. Okay, so a greater agitation for self-reliance through conflicts. That's what the major economic effect that begins to happen. So let me tell you, any person that you downthrow, that you put down, the only thing that is making him follow you is actually because he has not reached a strength to fight back. You see the Niger Delta boys that came this thing, eh? I think it was when they did that 1 million man march in Abuja for Abacha that time. They carried those boys from the creeks and they brought them to Abuja. When the boys entered Abuja and they saw Third Road, they saw buildings, they saw fine place, they said, yeah, with our money. When they went back, what did they do? They turned into militants. And I'm telling you that the way we are going in this country, there are several pockets of resistance that can arise when those people get empowered. The reason why a lot of people are not saying what they are saying is because they are bigger, they don't have the power for them to come out and do that. But when any of them comes to a point where he gets resources, he will rise up against government. Are we not hearing government doing negotiation with people? Are we not hearing that? And that's the point that we must not try to get. It leads to two major things: loss of human capital and loss of material resources. And I must say this, that many a times when we look at the economic impact of some of these things, we are quick to look at economic figures without actually thinking about the human capital that has been lost. So, sorry, what's your name? Fatima. You have a beautiful smile. Fatima, do you know, if you look at Fatima today, from the time that she was born to the time that to the place that you've seen her, how much do you think was invested in Fatima? Eh? Who said less than 1 million? Who said less than 1 million? Sorry, who said less than 1 million? I'm sure the person is not married. But you're not married. You're not married, right? I mean, it shows that you're not married because you don't know the price of Pampers. You don't know the price of Pampers. Because if you know the amount of money that her parents now have invested on her. Okay, so Fatima is born. Fatima is born in a hospital. You understand? The medical bills that have gone through all of that is investment in human capital. Fatima went to a school. Do you understand? She went to a particular school. From primary school, the father will leave this thing and go and pick her in school. All of that is an investment. Are we together? Are we together? I think somebody mentioned $1 million and then confusion started happening. You understand? Okay? You understand? Please get mad. I don't want you to miss this. So investment has been made on Fatima by several people. Her parents, her community. So let's imagine that Fatima is 24 years. So let's imagine that Fatima is 24 years. She has been taught by several teachers, by different, maybe she has gone to 3, 4, 5 schools. School fees has been paid on her. She has eaten food. She has done different medical bills and all of that. And this is the product that we have now, Fatima. She's gone to a university, maybe has a master's. And you know what it means to do that. So this is an investment that has been made on one person. And then we hear that there is a crisis, God forbid. And they say, Fatima is dead. Then we just act. Or, God forbid, we hear that somebody has carried her. And then we just, in fact, the police and the SSS and all of that will begin to want to reduce number. So if they killed, let's say, 34 people, they'll just come and lie, stand in front. I don't know how those guys sleep at night. You understand? They will look at you and then they will tell you there is 3 people and 4 are in the hospital. And Lai Mohammed, you understand, will come and tell you that you are is because you are not patriotic. Not only it just looks like a number was deleted. Not knowing that an investment has gone. That's why you see in serious countries, they will kill one person. They will kill one person. The US will be using years to investigate that thing. To bring what? Justice. Why? Because they know that you did not only kill a man, you killed a resource. That's why they can sacrifice men of their army to go and take one person that has been captured. Our own, some ragtag boys in Zamfara, they will carry a member of the house. And then all that they will tell you is that we are on top of the matter. And they are always condemning in strong terms. That's why I told you that Nigeria is only a country. It is not a nation yet. We are only people living in a geographical location. Because the moment it happens, anything happens, they will just try to even reduce the number so that it doesn't look like. Then when people come and say the number, or the local, they will come and tell you that it's because you are not patriotic. What image are you looking for? When you are losing resources, a man has been trained. That's why, you see, we don't care about our health care. We don't care about anything because as far as they're concerned, they are not even seeing you as an investment. So it's like you are one less mouth to feed. That's why, in fact, I am not going to dwell so much on the loss of material resources. That one is not even my concern because that one has been happening. In fact, Nigeria is a waste. What is not wasting? Sun is wasting. Wind is wasting. Water is wasting. Land is wasting. And blood also is wasting. What is not wasting in Nigeria? But you see, let me tell you that they do not place value on you as a person. That's why our constitution, just like Barrister was telling us, our constitution said they should give us free education. But they don't give. Nobody is investing in you. It has to be the hustles of your parents. Let me tell you, if you want to live long, honor your parents. Because what they have sacrificed, some of you have not become. If I leave this place now, I'm going to do something for my daughter. And I must not reach home without doing it. That's an investment. So we keep putting that investment on people, and we take away, we don't know that investment is supposed to be made in people. But in Nigeria, all that we just say 16 people have been kidnapped. Then we all go to. Nobody's talking about, and just like the ED said, he said, there cannot be peace without justice. So if anybody comes up with an agitation, nobody is even saying, come, let's sit down and talk. What is happening? What is this? What is this? And what is that? Nobody is saying that. The only thing is that they will come back and tell you what you want. In fact, if even the way they do development, somebody comes to your community and just looks at all of you, all your troubles, and he reduced all your troubles to building culverts. He builds culverts, that's all. Then he calls this thing, and they will launch with more than the money that they used to do the work. You understand? And then when you are passing the community, you are wondering, what is this culvert for? They will put signboard. This guy knows Nigeria very well. They will put signboard. They will tell you that this is something. See, it's because nobody places value on you. Has anybody done? Okay, thank you. I know my time is. He said I have 10 minutes, so I will stop after 10 minutes. Okay, so let me just be fast. So, please, can I have this back? 5 major outcomes. 5 major outcomes. The first you have is when injustice happens, wars happen. Okay? And we have the insurgency. I don't want to talk too much. And IDPs, religious conflicts, ethnic or tribal conflicts. And all these outcomes constitute a major disruption of the day-to-day economic interactions that sustain an economy, and thus a major strain on the revenue of the country and diversion of limited resources of individuals and even the country. So one good one I will not want to pass. So you know all these things. One good one I not want to pass, the one I put in black. You see IDPs. So you have moved a bunch of people from becoming producers into dependents. People who should be farming and taking care of themselves, looking at how to patch life and all of that. Now they have moved from wherever they are and have gathered in a particular place and are depending on people to come and take from the meager resources that they have and put on the IDPs. And then government will tell you it's part of the achievement. Like what is happening in Maiduguri? People are using IDP to campaign. I have 10 minutes. Okay, so the physical cost of please, next slide. The physical cost of prosecuting war in Nigeria. It will shock you that the civil war cost Nigeria about 130 million pounds in the 60s. 130 million pounds. That is in the 60s. Do you understand? Can you imagine if this war was avoided and that, no, just imagine if the matters of social injustice were handled that did not lead us to the war. Can you imagine the steps that we will have taken? And I hope you know that up to today we have not recovered from that war. Because we still see these agitations. We still see all of that. And they are costing both human and physical resources. Okay? The war against insurgency, Nigeria's defense budget has risen by 262% in the past 5 years. From 1.7 billion US dollars in 2017 to 4.5 billion dollars in 2021. And it's increasing. because this is 2022. We will see the figures at the end of that. As much as a lot has gone into corruption and all of the likes, but that is what is causing Nigeria to prosecute a war against a ragtag army. This is what is costing also. We're not talking about, this is what the government is budgeting to put to. We're not talking about the one that is destroyed. Because this one is a budgetary figure, you understand? So it's like what they are using to put train soldiers, buy ammunition, do all of those, you know, buy this, buy that. That is what that's the figure we are talking about. We're not talking about the ones that are being destroyed. We're not talking about the homes that are destroyed. We're not talking about all of that. So imagine the colossal loss. Just imagine that this money is saved and can be put into and it's counting, oh. We are not talking, and the figure is not going to, is reducing, oh. Can you imagine that your budget for defense has risen by 262%? And the ones not captured. Then the one that matters to me so much is cost of human capital loss. Millions of productive people have been lost during the wars that Nigeria has prosecuted and is currently prosecuting, which cannot be quantified in monetary terms. Then the IDPs, the millions of people that have moved from production to dependency because of wars that have been prosecuted and are currently being prosecuted. So this is my last, please, give me the last one. I'll stop here now. And I'll just talk about it. These are my own, this is not exhaustive, like I said, but will help set us on a path of attaining a country or a nation that we all can be proud of. Sorry, the word there is nation, not country. The first suggestion I have a clear path to attaining nationhood. We must have a clear path of attaining nationhood, where myself and you will be proud to be called Nigerians. Like I said, we are a country. I don't want to go into that matter. We are a country. We are not a nation. All of us that you are seeing inside this place, everybody has different goals. And different people inside this place, they are looking for how to blow. Even if the nation blows. So we must have a clear path of nationhood. The second thing I said there is have honest conversations on how to achieve the Nigeria of our dreams that we all will feel a part of. Nigeria has beautiful documents, oh. Beautiful documents, well-written paper. And let me tell you, somebody asked me one thing. He said, what do I think is the biggest problem of Nigeria? You know what I told him? I said, the law. The law is, no, some people live above it. The law for everything is there. And I'm telling you that if they are going to implement, excuse me, what barrister was reading for us, how many of you don't like it? You love it. You know that if this thing is going to be implemented. But excuse me, some people don't, they're above it. I'm telling you that if you're going to fix Nigeria, fix the judicial system. Where justice is given, where if I go and do something to Ishaya now, I will pay the consequence. Do you think that those of them in the US, they are more righteous than us? It's the law. It's the law that keeps them. In fact, in California, you cannot drive on the there's a place where they call carpooling. They do something called carpooling. Okay? So they will place you if you are alone in a car, there's a part of the road that you cannot drive on. Okay? In fact, one day I saw one of them. He went and looked for a dummy. If you go, you pay $400. Once they will just debit your account. Because you know the speed cameras will catch you, and then the next thing you are just seeing bill, $400. You understand? This guy went and carried dummy and put this thing and placed the person in front. You understand? And he was cruising on his carpooling lane. And I just said to myself, I said, these people, it's not that they are more righteous than us, but it's because their law works. Whoever you are. That's why when you go to the US, they will never give you their car to drive. Because you do anyhow, you see anyhow. But in Nigeria, you do anyhow again. So I don't think that it's all these policies that we need. But how do we strengthen our judicial system? Then the third one, economic decisions that would and seem to cover every Nigerian, not some parts of the country. And then every Nigerian should be able to live in any part of the country and practice his faith and belief, carrying out any legitimate business with equal access to every resource Nigeria has to offer. We must deal with this matter of that's what he talked about. Indigenship. We must deal with this. Let me say this story lastly, and then I stop. I was born in Kano. I went to buy land in Kano, around Gunduawa. They showed me a land, and they gave me a catalog of laws. Catalog of laws. In fact, I was asking, is this land free? And I knew that if I buy this land, I just bought bondage for myself. So I decided I was not going to do that. And today, somebody who will have contributed to that land does not live in that land again. But you see, nobody cares. Let me tell you, the easiest thing to be in Nigeria is a state governor. And please, if anybody is recording me here, say the easiest, brainless thing to do in Nigeria is a state governor. You have 36 buffoons going to Abuja every end of month and sharing oil money and coming back and doing like, what does it take to be a governor in Nigeria? What resources are you generating? If only they placed a demand on them. Do you know that if Kano State, if Plateau State now has to generate these resources and maybe contribute to the pool, okay, do you think that there will be crisis in Jos? They will be looking for who will come in. You understand? If today barrister say, I'm moving my office to this, and they check the amount they are getting from his tax, they look at it that if this man leaves, this is how much. Do you know Nigeria is the only country that they will tell you that Levent is left? And we just do like nothing happened. That airline would decide that they are not coming to Nigeria. And everybody is sitting down. Do you know how much in dollars you are losing? Well, because nobody cares. At the end of the month, they go and share what has come in. Nobody is generating anything. You go to a government office, productivity is not their thought. They will give one lady your file to go and take care of. She will hold it. You understand? You see her walking. You understand? Then 3 days after, she has not done anything about it. When I went to collect the school of my company, I collected the school of my company after 3 years. 3 years. You go there, they'll tell you, I think they've taken it to Gombe. What has my company got to do with Gombe? And you see, people are not thinking about all the productive time that people... Why? Because nobody is having a scorecard on how much he needs to put together before he spends. He said, I have 10 minutes. I have finished.
Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate the time. It's a great one. For myself, I wish we are not done yet, but due to our schedules, we have to move on. We'll all move to the cafeteria. No, no question, please. Okay, because of our time, there will be no question for this section. We'll have to all move to the cafeteria. After that, we are to return to this hall at exactly 1:30 p.m. Thank you.